Hello, I'm Bruce Zimmerman, and this is the Open Line Garden Show podcast for this week. Now, winter care of a lot of the plants that we have left over from Christmas or just throughout the winter. And we need to take and make sure that we're going to be successful. A lot of the plants are, in some cases, quite expensive. Others, no. But there are also great plants that you can use in your home and have them long term. And we want to be able to make sure that you can be successful with those. The first one is a short-term plant, in my opinion. It is poinsettia. And a lot of people say, okay, I got my poinsettia, etc. But here's a couple things you need to know. When you buy your poinsettia, they often come in a plastic sleeve. And that plastic sleeve, they either roll it down or leave it up. You want to roll it down. And what you're looking for is 1, yellow leaves, 2, green dry leaves. Okay? Now what this means is yellow leaves means that the plant's old and been in the dark too long. If it's dry green leaves, it means that it's been overwatered and still has the sleeve on it. Of course, you can't see that. The other thing you need to look for is the true flowers. The true flowers on a poinsettia are those little yellow and red ones in the center that almost look like the stamens, and that's exactly what you're looking at. Those are the true flowers. The colored parts are just a modified leaf, which are colored, and called bracts. So, here's the thing. You want good, strong colored bracts. You want them overlapping so that they're impressive. You don't want them tall and leggy and flopping. You don't want the dry green leaves. You don't want the yellow leaves and having a bare bottom. Now, if you've got a bare bottom on the plant, you can put extra foil on and make them look good. But even so, you know that the green leaves are going to finish off and they've got a little bit of root rot in them, and the same thing with the yellow. So, don't buy those. And you want to make sure that those little flowers in the center are very tight. And you don't want to see any red in them. You just want to see a little yellow. This means that the poinsettia is very fresh. So that's what you're looking for. If you've had your poinsettia for a while, you'll note that the bracts, the colored leaves, are actually sort of look dusty. And they're not. But they look dusty. And this means that their plant is not getting enough sunlight. So that means it needs to be moved into more light than it is. Now, whether you go and you put it into sunlight during the day and then when people come to visit, you move it out into its location for everybody to see or not, that's up to you. But you're looking at a 65 to 70 degree plant with a 60 to 65 degree night. The plants can't stand in water, as I've described. You don't want to splash the soil up onto the leaves. Not a good idea. But the soil itself needs to be surface dry between waterings. And it needs to be, again, in a bright location. This means that if you give it all the right indications, you get 2 to 3 months worth of good-looking plant and color out of it. And that means most of the winter. Some people go and they put them outside for the summer after chance of frost, keep them fed, keep them trimmed, shape them up. Now, this means that you'll be able to color them up in the fall. And that's an awful lot of work for a poinsettia. So I don't recommend it. Do it once just for the fun of it. But remember, they're going to need long nights, short days to color the bracts. So once you've got them up, ready, and back into the house in the fall, you obviously can't get the cold, but they need to be in a closet. Now that closet can't be opened even for 1 second during that 14-hour night, or you start again. And you don't want to start again at the beginning because it'll be New Year's or later by the time you get decent color into your bracts. So you need probably about 10 weeks to color them up nicely of doing this every night. They go into the dark closet and every day out into a good, bright, sunny window. That's why I say to you, it isn't worth it. Now, in the same family is, of course, Crown of Thorns. Now, I know people go, ooh, Crown of Thorns? Same family? I said, yes. Euphorbia is a very, very, very large and diverse family. So use this one because I like this one. Basically it's a cactus because it has thorns. And it needs a good bright light. Okay, no problem. Temperature 65 to 75 during the day and a little cooler 60 to 70 at night. They will bloom for you regularly every winter. And they do come in reds and pinks and whites and I think there's a yellow as well. Because I have grown yellow. I got it from my mother 40 years ago. So they're around, but you got to really look for them. I actually had to propagate that one myself in order to get it for her. Surprised the living daylights out of her when she got a yellow crown of thorns. The leaves are always a little sparse. There will be a time when they drop and put out the new growth with the new leaves. Nature of the beast. 65 to 75 degree days and 60 to 70 degree nights. Remember, because it's more of a cactus, you want to drench the soil once and allow it to get quite dry between waterings. This will be the better way of watering this plant. Other than the thorns, it actually makes a good plant then for forgetful children, because children, they overwater and then they forget to water. So it actually is quite a good one. So try that one as well, and I think you'll like that one. That's a good long-term one. Now, a lot of people bring in their tropical hibiscus, and what you have to be careful here is that you don't bring in aphids, whitefly, and mealybug. These are the three insects that really go after the tropical hibiscus. So once you may control those using either a spray of water or insecticidal soaps, don't spray the flowers. Get them into a very sunny window. You want these in the sunniest window possible. And what will happen is you will get new growth. Sometimes you will also see quite a bit of a shock and you'll lose a lot of leaves yellow. This means that maybe once it goes back outside and starts to grow again, you may have to go and actually trim it back to shape it up and push out the new branches and leaves so that it is a nice shape. Particularly, I think this happens with the tree-shaped ones that have been growing into a tree form. And they make great patio plants. They make great summer plants. They make great specimen plants for your mixed border. So they're well worth doing as well. Now remember, in the house, they're going to need 65 to 70 degrees Fahrenheit during the day, but 60 to 70 during the night. You can water them thoroughly in the soil and then allow it to dry to touch. They can never stand in water. They need that little bit of extra care for the control of insects. And I think you'll find that they're well worth it. I used to grow these and put them out on my balcony. And, of course, with the different colors and all the different shapes, people always knew where I lived. Kalanchoe. These will be plants that can go out and actually be planted in your garden for the summer. Now, obviously, being a succulent, they go out after frost, but they can come in as houseplants. These are great plants in either case. So, what you want to do is provide 65 to 70 degree temperatures during the day, and you do want a 60 to 65 degree Fahrenheit night. Moist, but because it's a succulent, a little on the dry side, but also you want it to become a little drier in between waterings. So you need it in a bright light location. Now, sometimes in the house they will get leggy, so you may have to nip them back. Now, they will bloom for 2 to 6 weeks. But here's the cool thing. You have to give them the long night, short days. And by doing this, just like you would a poinsettia, but here's the thing. You do this for approximately 6 to 8 weeks. Now that sort of depends on the varieties, etc., and the breeding of the kalanchoe. These kalanchoes will then be put back permanently into a very bright location, looked after normally, but the flower buds won't show up for 2 months. And then bloom, but they'll also bloom for months on end. And of course you've got all the different colors, and the reds, the pinks, the salmons, the yellows, the whites. They're just incredible. And of course, they make great bedding plants out in your sunny, hot, warm garden. One of the other plants that you should always take a look at this time of year, and people try and sell you, and that is Norfolk Island pine. As an indoor artificial, it's not really artificial, but it's a real live Christmas tree that you can grow year round. The problem is that the branches don't react well to the heat of the lights, even on mini lights, or on the wires that go in and hold, let's say, the decorations. And have you ever tried to get the tinsel off? Always difficult. So, if you're going to decorate it, yes, know that you're going to have to work hard to get it back into a beautiful shape. 65 to 70 degrees during the day, 60 to 65 during the night, and very high humidity. The low humidity or high temperatures can cause the branches to become brittle, brown, and drop, usually from the bottom. Watch out for spider mite. And you remember you're growing a pine that normally grows where there's a lot of wind and island, okay? That means offshore breezes. So we're looking at humidity, we're looking at bright light, we're looking at air movement. So you want to try and achieve these as well. And that's what you need to do. If you're going to be able to do this and be successful and use it either as a Christmas tree or just as a houseplant, you need to be able to accomplish this. There's a few tips on a few plants that you're going to see available in your garden centers and grocery stores at this time of year. Be aware, pick the right ones, and enjoy for a long period of time. I'm Bruce Zimmerman. This is the Open Line Garden Show podcast for this week.